Welcome. Mayor, we have up first IT Manager Keenan Ewing is actually going to give us an overview of some of the technology initiatives we have going right now. There was quite a bit that we included in the last COP for purchase of upgrading technology, and he's here to tell us how we've done so far on that.
Great. All right, good evening, Mayor, City Council. Happy to be back here. I did one of these last year, so the hope is to update on some of the items we talked about then, as well as kind of give you an idea of what we're working on today and future projects that we're targeting. To get us started, we'll talk about some modernization we've done. These softwares and services we're going to discuss here, stuff that's been deployed like 10 to 15 years ago, still supported by their vendors, regularly updated, but we realize that there's improvements to be made and there's options available to us. So recently we upgraded our utility management software to a modern platform, delivering notable improvements to data capturing, reporting speeds, operational efficiency, allowing staff to respond faster and serve residents more effectively. What that translates to is that we've gotten a lot better at reading water meters. The old system and processes required a lot of manual efforts and at times would be taxing on our public works crews to make sure that they're meeting those deadlines. The new system is streamlines those processes a lot, automates things. In real time, the water billing teams would have access to that data, whereas before they'd run the equipment to the meter and then run it back here just to get downloads. We don't have to do that anymore. So the hope is, it makes the water billing side easier. It makes public works less stressed out with making sure that they get those readings done on time. And I think we're in month 3 now, and we've got nothing but positive feedback on that, so we're happy with that. Upgrades underway to our financial systems, including consolidating databases and preparing for a major application update to a more modern integrated platform. This one's probably been lingering longer than I would like it to, but once we get past, what we're dealing with now, I think there'll be improvements across the board. So pretty much all those applications that are in our resource planning software will be improved versions of what they are now. So also preparing to migrate the city's website to a secure cloud-based platform to enhance reliability and scalability. So my last slide is going to go in a little more depth on this because I think it would be of interest of the council to discuss maybe. I don't think there's a doubt that our city website is a little outdated. I think it was deployed in 2013. We've been on the same theme, the same appearance, the same site mapping. It's due for an update. The last 90 days or so, we've really focused on an exit strategy on that website. As you can imagine, with over a decade of using that site, the departments have become dependent on some internal tools that we've developed. So we've kind of planned a strategy to get away from those tools or to migrate them if necessary, which we've already started that process. Moving on to network monitoring. This is probably not like a super flashy project, but one that we've made significant improvements on. The catalyst for this project was, of course, the dispatch center, right? It's not just the Gladstone residents we're taking care of, it's Clay County, it's Liberty. So we've always had the ability to monitor the network, but those resources were kind of segmented and maybe it was a little more reactionary. Whereas now we're able to, detect network anomalies in real time, which enables faster response to connectivity issues with our partner agencies, including Liberty, Clay County, Excelsior Springs. On several occasions, the new platform triggered alerts that allowed us to quickly confirm and address these issues with our partners. Some of these items here are things that we've been working on in the last couple months, so we're still developing exactly the way it's going to look, but I think it's worth sharing. The city has recently adopted Microsoft Teams as a secured, unified collaboration and communication platform, which improves our ability to message, file share, and virtual meetings across city departments. This one here is a little interesting. It's strengthening emergency operations resiliency by providing reliable, rapid communication during incidents. So the idea behind this is to create like a bulletin area for not just leadership team, but key stakeholders, council, where information can be shared. Because I think that we've probably all been in a situation where a neighbor or friend will be like, you work for the city or you have a relationship with the city, why doesn't my water work? So, it kind of gives a place for leaders to share tidbits of information that they may have. For example, let's say Tim is aware of a water break. He can share that information there. Now you've got 15 to 20 community leaders that are also aware of what's going on. And it probably, takes some of the burden off him too, rather than being forwarded all these people. We know what's going on as well. And then supporting remote and hybrid work environments, ensuring operational continuity. More and more we see staff on the move. We want to make sure that they have the tools available to them to stay in contact with their teams. And they want those, so yeah. Infrastructure enhancements. City Manager Bob Baer mentioned the COP funds. Of the $300,000 allocated from the 2024 COP funds for critical IT modernization, 200,000 was issued directly to the improvement of core infrastructure items. That includes upgrading servers, network equipment, backup systems, and virtualization platforms to improve reliability and performance. We talked about this last year, like our main goals were redundancy and resiliency. So that's what we did with that money. And I think it really went a long way, including replacing some aging power and server components to reduce downtime risk. And of course, no matter how resilient or redundant your network is, it just takes one incident to bring everything to a screeching halt. So we've also focused on enhancing our data backup and disaster recovery capabilities so that in the event something like that happens, we have a plan, there's a way to recover the data. We've also adjusted the annual budget to include a dedicated SURF IT tech replacement allotment, ensuring sustainable long-term hardware refresh planning. A lot of that equipment that we're talking about, it's predictable in its life cycles. The manufacturer tells you how long they'll support it. Of course, the servers don't care how long the manufacturer says it's supposed to live, but you can sort of plan for it, whereas before we weren't doing that. So we've got that built in now. The public safety items, we've enhanced patrol capabilities by adding ID scanners to police vehicles, regularly refreshing MDTs, improving connectivity to police headquarters, and supporting other in-car systems. When it comes to patrol, our main efforts are going to be like just gaining efficiency. The quicker they can get in and out of calls for service, the more time they spend serving the community. So that's a goal of ours, making sure they have the tools on hand to do what they need to do. Expanding security coverage in local parks. I think we had some vandalism issues in 2024. So at the beginning of this year, we added some cameras to one of those problem parks. And to my knowledge, there has been no incidents this year. So like proof of concept, we know it's working. It's deterring somebody, right? With that said, we're scoping the expansion of additional cameras to support upcoming events and deter theft or vandalism. Again, there was some theft at one of the local parks. This park, maybe it's a little more complex to get cameras set up out there, so we'll see what the scoping process gives us in return, but more to come on that one. We've also improved emergency communications, including participation in the National Warning System and quarterly EOC stand-ups. Chief Ferris and Chief Desitels do a great job, and their staffs do a great job of meeting up quarterly and asking the questions, okay, what if this happens, what do we do? So over the last year, we've really improved upon that. And then strengthening regional connectivity with Mark and KC radio systems. Great partners. I don't know if anybody's dealt with them, but they're great every time they're here. KC Radio was here today getting the National Warning System set up. They've been great, and they're always trying to improve. Website redesign. We kind of talked about it, right? Like we understand that it's out of date. I'm sure it's a sore subject for some residents. There's definitely improvements to be made there. And our goals would be refreshing the city's public website to improve usability, accessibility, and visual appeal. With that said, we've sat in a couple calls with potential partners. In those calls, it's not just me. Our communications specialist, Nikki, will sit in on those. That way, when I'm focused on site mapping and data migration and all of that, she's also making sure that we're getting the Gladstone touch in there, right? So if council has opinions or wants things to go a certain direction, she can relay those to the team as well. It also includes aligning with ADA accessibility standards to meet DOJ compliance deadlines. This isn't us putting a deadline on council or the leadership team. It's more just putting a spotlight on the fact that maybe there's residents in our community that aren't getting the accommodations that they need from the website, right? Maybe there's services that they're not able to navigate to. So we want to make sure that we're doing it sooner rather than later. And then of course our potential partners that we're looking at specialize in city websites. That'll give us CMS, which is content management systems that are easier for staff to update. That way if an incident or something happens, they can quickly put that on the website and not just social media. That'll include built-in ADA tools, online, pretty much everything we already have. Make sure that we don't lose any of that in some sort of transition. Are there any questions? I know that was a lot and very quick, but questions?
Good. Questions?
Keenan, thank you very much. And a lot of this has been, internal IT, and this might not be relevant to the conversation tonight, so feel free to table this and we can go back to it another time. But in conversations in alerting the public in certain events, is there something out there that we should be looking at that's going to be enhanced on the new website, or very, basically, at the end of the day, I think the last time we had this was just water breaks a few weeks ago or whatever it would have been, right? And people upset that they didn't hear about it, didn't know about it, and didn't have a boil alert or anything of that nature. So looking to see if there's something out there that people can go to on the new website. Is that something that we're thinking about, or?
We've sat through a couple demos, and each of those demos included that. I don't know the specifics, and maybe it's something that we really key in on before we choose a potential partner. But between that, Everbridge, and social media, I think we can cover all our bases, so.
On the Everbridge piece, do we, and forgive my ignorance here, so educate me, but do you have to opt into that? Or is everybody's, because I don't get alerts, and I don't know if that's just because I didn't pay attention and didn't sign up for it, and Manager Bear, you might have that answer too, so.
I might have it, yeah.
Kind of a Nikki thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a Nikki question, but I was there enough to know that Everbridge has a database that had cell phones in it already. And then once we acquired the Everbridge, we acquired that as well, that database. But we also tried to tap into the community center database, and as well as we did a push for having people sign up for Everbridge as well. I think probably it's time we actually do another push on the Everbridge again, to try to get people to sign up for that. But the answer is yes on all of that. May not necessarily have your cell phone in there, but I mean, there was a pretty robust database that Everbridge was already in possession.
Okay, I just, we need to look at that, obviously, for recent experiences. So, thank you, that's it.
All got the same email. Anything else? And you and your staff do a great job. We appreciate you, and some of these improvements are going to be greatly welcome, but please pass along that we think all of you do a good job, and we appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. We'll call to order the September 22, 2025 Gladstone City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, please note all council members are present. If you all please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, a good thanks to Carla Gleaton and Jim Zimmerman, who are two of those that are always here presenting the colors for us. We appreciate you. Next item is approval of the agenda. Is there any corrections or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, it shall stand approved. Next, approval of the September 8, 2025 regular city council meeting minutes. Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the approval of the September 8, 2025 regular city council meeting minutes.
Second?
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next is a proclamation, Missouri Good Neighbor Week. I understand we have some members from our neighborhood commission to join us this evening. See some of them, familiar faces. If you would, please join me up front.
Okay.
I'd like to highlight the importance of building stronger, more connected neighborhoods. Too often, being a good neighbor is seen as simply keeping to ourselves. The research shows that genuine connections around us lead to safer, healthier, and more vibrant communities. Many people don't know their neighbors or interact with their neighbors regularly, especially in this day and age of social media, right? This lack of connection contributes to loneliness and isolation. Simple acts of kindness, like introducing yourself or checking in, can make a big difference in improving mental health and community pride. In 2022, Missouri established Good Neighbor Week to promote these small but powerful acts. So today, on behalf of the Gladstone City Council and all Gladstone residents, I encourage everyone to take part as we officially proclaim the week of September 28th to October 4, 2025 as Missouri Good Neighbor Week in Gladstone. See the picture section. So I would like to present this proclamation to all of you, to each of you. Thank you for your work you do on the neighborhood commission, and thank you for being good citizens of Gladstone. So who would like to be the one to speak on behalf of the community? So, funny story about Dan Green. He was a former highway patrolman. I first met Dan on I-70 on the shoulder. Never know where. You just never know. Yeah, why don't you come on down here, and I think
Yeah.
still say I wasn't speeding. Next time is communications. Communications from the audience. Any members of the public are invited to speak about any topic not listed on our agenda this evening. While speaking, please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the council this evening?
My name's Dan Green, 3704 Northeast 63rd Street. I know you probably get a lot of complaints from people, but I just want to give some kudos to the city of Gladstone, especially Bob Bear. Yes. Austin Greer. And Alan Apley and the police department and fire department, and Tim Niebergall, because anytime we've had issues within the neighborhood, they've been quick to respond and do it in a professional, courteous manner. And I just want them to know that our neighborhood appreciates them very much. So, thank
Thank
you.
you, Dan. Appreciate that very much. Is there anyone else this evening?
Good evening. My name is Jim Oldebecken. I live at 400 Northeast 76th Terrace. Mayor Smith, wanted to come tonight and just make a very brief comment regarding the 250th commemoration.
Please.
The commemoration is not about events. It's about the minds and hearts of citizens. We get discouraged, and sometimes we're not really sure what we can do as citizens for our country in a way that's significant, to express a voice in a way that can be heard, and to make a meaningful difference at our level in some way. And one of the mechanisms to help our community and our county to have a meaningful commemoration is being led by the Clay County 250 nonprofit. Scott Wagner, the county commissioner, is chair. One thing that has kicked off just this last week, and Mayor, thank you very much for coming to Antioch Middle School for that event, but it was a kickoff of the Clay County 250 Citizen Challenge. And in essence, this is something that was developed under Mr. Wagner's leadership. It's pretty exciting. Many aspects of the commemoration have to do with plaques and some events and some fundraising and community education. All that is invaluable and necessary. But the Citizen Challenge is very different because it is an opportunity for action. And there are different, I think there's a list of 15 different items that citizens are encouraged to consider undertaking. And by doing those, if one accumulates a certain number of points, they received a commemorative medallion from Clay County 250. These are offered elsewhere. It's also called the Challenge Coin, very popular, very significant in military and first responders. But we have one for the commemoration of our 250th anniversary. I'm really glad that tonight we have with us a student from Antioch Middle School that was in the classroom that would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Please come forward and give us your name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Zachary Reeser. I live at 6805 North Madison Avenue, and as Mr. Becken said, I am a student that goes to Antioch Middle School, and I'd like to thank you for coming to start and share news about the Citizen Challenge, and just thank you for all the challenge in and of itself, being able to participate in something like this.
You're welcome. It's great. Thank you for being here. It's not quite as bad as it feels, right? It's okay. No, I appreciated being there, actually. It was a great day. It was Constitution Day, and I appreciate you coming forward and saying something. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? Great. Next item is communications from the city council. Councilman Nave.
Mr. Mayor, had an opportunity last week to attend my first Board of Zoning Adjustment meeting. And I'm just never, I should learn never to be surprised at how smart the volunteers in our community are. Really have a good group of people who ask considerate questions and really have the best benefits of our citizens in mind. So I was really pleased to attend that meeting. And I know Alan is working on maybe some code updates after that one. But did also have the opportunity to attend our Bard Parks meeting, where we have welcomed a new aquatics director, Alicia. So I know we're going to be putting her to work very quickly, but came with a lot of experience. So really excited to have her with us now. And the dog park. There's been a lot of questions about the dog park. It will be done in October. The date is still TBD, but we're just waiting on some grass to grow.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Davis.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Spallo.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Nothing for me.
Thank you. First of all, I appreciated being invited to speak at Antioch Middle School. Mr. Oldebecken, you, as I said then, you're truly a great American. I feel it was a rousing success by the fact that out of 2 classes, only 1 student was certified to be asleep by the time I was finished. So, you know, we talked about, obviously they're going to learn about, you know, the important folks in our country's history and learn about the Constitution and other things. And so in 3 minutes, how do you explain citizenship to students? And maybe you start at the beginning, and it begins with just being a good person, a good neighbor. Getting involved in your community, sitting on city councils, boards, commissions, whatever, but also studying and learning the truth about the issues of today for yourself and finding that truth. But the citizen challenge with the commemorative coin, I believe, Jim, did you say we're the only county in the country that's doing that at this time? And as you can imagine, all of you who spearheaded that, which was Mr. Oldebecken, and we appreciate that. But some of the points of where they can earn points, the students can earn points for citizenship activities are, you know, reading the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, writing to a public official, attending a public meeting, speaking at a public meeting, completing 6 hours of community service, writing a thank you note to someone in public service, visit Clay County Historic Site, which we have right here in Gladstone, participate in America's Field Trip, which is sponsored by America 250, participate in the American Legion's National High School oratorio contest, and just there's a list of 4 or 5 other things that is intended to get students involved, engaged, and educated about the history of our country and what it really means to culminate next July. So thank you for being here. Mr. Oldebecken, thank you for all that you've done with this, and it's getting real now, so let's go. City Manager Bob Bear.
Thank you, Mayor. I only have a couple things. The first thing is that Admin Assistant Becky Jarrett is working diligently to compile a list of people that are interested in boards and commissions this year. And so if you go to the homepage of our website, you'll see where you can actually go to apply to be on a board and commission, and that'll be live and available until October 16th. So again, just go to the homepage on the city website and follow that link if you're interested in being part of a board and commission. And lastly, I don't want anybody to forget that GladFest is coming October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and specifically the parade is coming back. And I know Jerry Powell, Bert Comstock, Jenny Kyle, Shelley True have been diligently working with the city staff almost every week here, and I know we're down to meetings every week trying to organize a great parade this year to kind of kick it back off again after kind of a hiatus of a few years. So encourage everybody to come out and enjoy the parade, or better yet, be part of the parade on October 4th. That's all I have, man.
Good, thank you. It's also worth noting the hard work that staff has put into not only the parade, but all of GladFest this year. I think Jennifer and Bert have probably done a good enough job to where they may even be asked to do it again next year. Take a motion on that. Item 10 is the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, will you please explain and read the consent agenda?
A consent agenda allows the city council to consider and approve routine items of business without discussion. Any member of the city council, the city staff, or the public may request removal of any item from the consent agenda and request that it be considered under the regular agenda if discussion or debate of the item is desired. Items not removed from the consent agenda will stand approved upon motion by any council member, second unanimous vote, to approve the consent agenda as published or modified. Consent agenda. Resolution R-25-55, a resolution authorizing acceptance of a proposal from Premier Picks LLC, doing business as Performance Fitness Equipment for the acquisition of 10 ellipticals in the amount of $53,975. Consider monthly financial update, August year-to-date 2025.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience, any staff member or council member who'd like to have anything removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, would entertain a motion.
Mayor Smith,
Councilmember Spallo.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 11 is a public hearing fixing the annual rate of levy for the 2025 real estate and personal property taxes within the corporate limits of the city of Gladstone, Missouri. First, we will hear from staff and then anyone who would like to speak one way or the other during the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Sir.
Very good. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. Good to be with you tonight. Thinking about the 2025 property tax levy. Unlike last year, we do have actual numbers for this session. Last year, we had estimated numbers. I will say the advertisement that went out roughly a month ago was estimated. It was, say, about a 2.5% difference. But the numbers that you're looking at tonight are the final numbers. So we'll jump right in. As we think about the evaluations, and I apologize that we've got a lot of numbers on here and some of the font's pretty small, but I'll focus on the bigger numbers, specifically the totals as we think about tax year 2025. The total assessment's $587,525,680. That's right in the middle of the page, and then to the right of that, last year was $544,967,939. So year over year, that's roughly a 7.8% increase. You might ask, well, how did that compare to the prior years? Prior years were, or the prior year was 10.7%, so down about 3 percentage points. You can see how that, what it consists of, certainly from a residential perspective, going back to the top of the page, if you will. Excuse me, up about 12.8%. Coming down to commercials, up about 2.6%, and then total real estate at 10.7%. Personal property is actually down about 7.8%. And then at the bottom section of the page translates into the actual property tax and then into the levy rates for 2025. The total number, I'll focus on that one at the bottom, is about $4.1 million in property tax, kind of in its purest form, but also $4.1 million in property tax revenue. Compared to prior year, we were just a tad over $4 million. So year over year, that's about a 3% increase. And then out to the right there, you can see the actual levy rates. Residential is 0.661. That's down from 0.7 in prior year. Agriculture, not a lot of movement there year over year. 5.9. It was 5.8 last year. Commercial's flat to last year. The same thing with personal property. Next page is really just is a pro forma. It's year over year. Again, 24 at the top, 25 at the bottom. Already touched on the valuations there on the left-hand side. Again, about a 7.8% increase year over year. You've got the levy rates in the middle column there. And then the actual revenue out to the far right. 24 was just a tad over $4 million in total revenue. We're looking for a 3% increase. And 25, based on the calculator provided by Clay County with our inputs of $4.1 million. And then historically, of that, say that $4.1 million, we collect about 95% of the real property tax in the current year. And then moving on to the last page, page 4 here, just kind of give you a look back a little bit from a real property and personal property perspective. For 2025 fiscal year, about 3.7 million was collected. In the budget for 3.8, or for the 2026 budget, we've got about 3.8 million. And then based on the estimates here, assuming a 95% collection rate, we'll collect roughly 3.9 or just shy of 4 million in the coming year. Well, with that, any questions?
Councilmember Spalla.
Regarding personal property tax and the fact that it is going to be less this year, do you have any idea what to attribute that to? I'm thinking, people just aren't buying new vehicles because of interest rates, inflation and whatnot, or?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that internally, and I think you've kind of hit the two proverbial nails on the head. It's the cost of funds and the cost of the product. And so I think it's a known fact that people are keeping their cars longer, driving them longer, and interest rates are still up, even though the Fed did have a recent interest rate cut. Relatively speaking, going back to 2019, 2020, rates are still relatively high from a borrowing perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there any members of the audience who would like to speak in this public hearing? Public hearing is closed. Item 12 is the first reading, Bill number 25-27, an ordinance enacted pursuant to Missouri Revised Statute Section 67.110, fixing the annual rate of levy for the 2025 real estate and personal property taxes within the corporate limits of the city of Gladstone, Missouri.
Mayor Smith.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move to place Bill number 25-27 on its first reading.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk, will you please read the bill?
First reading Bill number 25-27, an ordinance enacted pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes Section 67.110, fixing the annual rate of levy for the 2025 real estate and personal property taxes within the corporate limits of the city of Gladstone, Missouri.
Mayor Smith.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move to accept the first reading of Bill number 25-27, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk?
Second reading Bill number 25-27, an ordinance enacted pursuant to Missouri Revised Statutes, Section 67.110, fixing the annual rate of levy for the 2025 real estate and personal property taxes within the corporate limits of the city of Gladstone, Missouri.
Mayor Smith.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move to accept the second reading of Bill number 25-27 and act it as ordinance number 4.711.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Nave?
Aye.
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Spallo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Bill number 25-27 has been enacted as ordinance number 4.711. Item 13 is first reading Bill number 25-28, an ordinance establishing certain fees and charges for year-round brush and yard waste disposal provided by the city of Gladstone, Missouri, and amending all prior ordinances inconsistent therewith, particularly ordinance numbers 2.082, 2.615, 2.858, 3.082, 3.555, 3.755, and 4.029.
Mayor Smith.
Councilman Davis.
I move to place Bill number 25-28 on its first reading.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk.
First reading Bill number 25-28, an ordinance establishing certain fees and charges for year-round brush and yard waste disposal provided by the city of Gladstone, Missouri, and amending all prior ordinances inconsistent therewith, particularly ordinance numbers 2.082, 2.615, 2.858, 3.082, 3.555, 3.755, and 4.029.
Mayor Smith.
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the first reading of Bill number 25-28, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk.
Second reading Bill number 25-28, an ordinance establishing certain fees and charges for year-round brush and yard waste disposal provided by the city of Gladstone, Missouri, and amending all prior ordinances inconsistent therewith, particularly ordinance numbers 2.082, 2.615, 2.858, 3.082, 3.555, 3.755, and 4.029.
Mayor Smith.
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the second and final reading of Bill number 25-28 and enact the bill as ordinance 4.712.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? I might add, just for clarification, that this does not affect residential rates for those of you who may use the service. It primarily affects commercial rates, as quite frankly, we were finding that contractors are coming into town, doing some work for residents in our city, and then taking advantage of that rate to dispose of their brush at our site. So it does not affect any of you who may use the service on a residential basis. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Nave?
Aye.
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Spalo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Bill number 25-28 has been enacted as ordinance number 4.712. Item 14 is the first reading bill number 25-29, an ordinance amending Title I, Government of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gladstone, Missouri, to amend Chapter 115, Meetings and Records.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Nave.
I move to place Bill number 25-29 on its first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk?
First reading bill number 25-29, an ordinance amending Title I, Government of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gladstone, Missouri, to amend Chapter 115, Meetings and Records.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Nave.
I move to accept the first reading of Bill 25-29, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Madam Clerk?
Second reading bill number 25-29, an ordinance amending Title I, Government of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gladstone, Missouri, to amend Chapter 115, Meetings and Records.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Nave.
I move to accept the second and final reading of Bill number 25-29 and enact the bill as ordinance number 4.713.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? I might add that this is just to make our ordinance consistent with state law. Ma'am.
Councilman Nave?
Aye.
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Spalo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Bill number 25-29 has been enacted as ordinance number 4.713. Resolution R25-56, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a superseding addendum to the Park Development and Naming Rights Agreement with Variety of Greater Kansas City, Tent 8.
Mayor Smith.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the adoption of Resolution R-25-56.
Second?
A motion and a second. City Manager Bear, will you give us a minute on this, please?
I will. This, as you recall, last year, we signed an agreement with Variety KC for the all-inclusive park that we're going to have under construction at 57, 58th and Flora Park. In that agreement, Variety KC was listed as the contractor, and I think through more communication, it would be better if we were the contractor on this. And partnered with them to work with a company called Play Power to get this done. And so the first thing we need to do is amend the original agreement to make ourselves the contractor again. And then hopefully by the next council meeting, we'll actually bring forward the construction agreement with Play Power to actually get the thing underway. So one piece of the puzzle before we move to the next.
Great. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any other business to come before the council this evening? Hearing none, we shall stand adjourned. Thank you.